Notice what happened. I got rid of that one out there by mistake. I don't know if you saw that or not, so that's why I did Control Z to go back and make sure I didn't delete the background inadvertently. Alright, so I'm going to move in closer. What I want again is just this front shell of the pattern, the side and the bottom. Move in here and make sure I've got all the little lines taken care of. I'm also going to come in and close and look at each of these joints. And the reason for that is sometimes there's more than one line creating the joint. And this one in my case is a good example. You notice this line is actually made of two lines here as it was pulled out. We might be able to get rid of this one. Nope, see, it's going to eliminate the shape up there. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it there, just realizing that this is part of the edge that I may need to work with. And I can also see there's a little piece left here of the outside shell. Gonna use the way you do that is you use your left key, mouse button, click, draw the box around it. It will highlight it, hit the delete key, and it's gone. Alright, now we want to now get our pattern shape that we're going to have follow our outside edge. And so what I want this bottom section to be is I want it to be really transparent so I can see through it and see the bottom area. So I'm going to click on it to highlight, go back to my materials, and I'm going to click on this to make it even lighter. Okay, I must not have got it. Come on. Okay, what has happened is sometimes when you pull things out, they change color on you. And that's what's happened here. It's why I can't make it more transparent. So if I go back up and click on this tool, see, and re-hit those, and now they're transparent again so that I can use that function. And that may happen sometimes, but that's how we solve that problem. Okay, so close that again. Now I'm going to move in here because I can now see the shape, but one of the things I noticed, this side is inset where this side's right on the outside line. Alright, and because that's where we originally pulled that box out to. We want to make sure that this space is the same over here, and roughly as I look at this, you can see that this is about halfway in on the thickness of our floor plan. Now, you may say, well, wait a minute, isn't the space between the inner and outer shell supposed to be wider? Well, the floor plans that we get that I believe are original ones that came from Airstream, when they were making these designs, they were making as a sales illustration, not as an exact floor plan model. So they made them a little thicker and bolder. I think partly that showed where the window symbols worked was easier than if they didn't do that. So what we need to do is we need to move the front of our pattern the same distance in as it is over on the side. So I'm going to click on it to highlight it as a component, which means it gets this blue box around it. And I'm going to move in here quite close because I'm really making a small movement. Again, I'm going to hit the M key, or you could select the move tool here, grab the corner, and just pull this back till it's about the same thickness. Alright, so see, that's going to make the space between the inner and outer shell. And if I look at that space, I look at this space, okay, I can see I've got it pretty darn close now. So now I'm ready to come back in and draw my arc. Now on what we want to do is, click enough times. Now see, this is still highlighted. All we want highlighted is just the base right now. See, if I have it clicked too many times, you can see how we get the highlight pattern here. I'm going to click here again so I just have the base selected. I'm going to get my arc tool, click here, start right where the black area ends because that's the division between the rounded section and the straight section. Click and bring it across. Now, I can run up and down this line, and you'll notice there's a place where it turns that pink or magenta color. That means that's a true 45-degree angle cut across there. Anything up or down is less than 45. And on the early trailers, that's very convenient because that's really what the shape is. So I'm going to click once, draw it up. Now remember, you can draw this anywhere, but that arc may go in funny places. So the safest way is to run the line along the outside edge, which helps keep it aligned. And you want to come out, so again your spacing up in this area, right here, between here and here, equals what you did on the front and the side of the trailer. You're not going to bring that all the way out. So you want to get it to that space looks pretty accurate. Now, it turns pink when it's actually the perfect 1/4 of a circle, because that's essentially what we're drawing here. And for now, that's what I'm going to use because it's probably closest to what the actual shape is. And click. Alright, now this line is already goes from here and continues to the corner, so I'm going to come down and click here. I'm going to come across here and click here, and that's what we did last time using the line tool, pencil tool, which means we've got to do line again. I inadvertently deleted my arc, so I got to do it again. Okay, so there's my arc. Okay, now I want just my pencil tool, so I'm going to hit the line, and I want to draw from this corner across to this corner, click, and we should have a pattern here and a pattern there. Now I've done that for two reasons this time, because I want to show you this time that when you're making a pattern, where that pattern, this could be a pattern or this could be a pattern. Which one do you use? Alright? And what I want to show you is it's really interesting what happens as the shape draws itself automatically. So we're going to do like we did in the first example. We need to go down and highlight every one of the outside lines, because that's going to be the path for our pattern to follow. Remember, since we had that little tiny space, you've got to move in here and select it also. Otherwise, when you go to do your pattern, it'll say not a valid path and it won't draw the pattern. Okay, I'm going to wait a minute, make sure everybody's up with me, because this next couple of moves is pretty interesting. The first one I'm going to use is this shape. So let's go up and get our follow me tool, come down, and we can see that that part of the pattern highlights, so it should work. Click, and there's our shape. And we have a lot of parts in there, an outside part, an inner part, and then you can see down in the middle is our actual form we want. And we'd have to go in and erase a lot of this. But I'm going to hit Control Z and get rid of that, and then I'm going to come back and use that as my shape to follow the line. But because I deleted, I've got to come back and highlight my line again, the one I want the path to follow,